Hi guys, it's Jim here from Jim and Jay's Final Say here on Palace Fan TV. Post Chelsea reaction video, the game that handed Chelsea the title. So we played a part in that. A 1-0 defeat at Stamford Bridge. I actually thought Palace played quite well. It wasn't a bad game at all. We certainly made Chelsea work for their win. Slightly weird lineup from Pards, not sort of no striker. Yala and Much sort of through the middle, and Mariappa at right back. So a few changes to the team, which is fair enough, I guess. I mean, they actually played very well. I thought Much had a good game. Still looks a bit sort of unfit, a bit off the pace, but he's definitely got something about him. I think with a big run in the team, obviously that's the kind of problem with playing midfield. You're going to struggle to get a run, but you know there could be something there for him. So I thought Wilf had one of his best games in a Palace shirt. He was a constant threat to Ivanovic down the wing, got him booked. Just played with confidence. Just looked like he really believed in himself. And I think we're seeing an improvement from Wilf every game. And you know, next season I'm really excited about what he could offer, because given a real sort of proper run and you know, that confidence back, we know he's talented. We know he could be a brilliant player. He just needs everything else to kind of work for him. But it's great. We're seeing the Wilf that left us 2 years ago to go to Man United. Only now he's back. He's permanently at Palace, and he looks like he's growing into the player that we hoped he would become. And it's for us. It's not for Man United or anyone else. It's for us. So that was good. I thought we were unlucky with the penalty. On first, at sort of normal speed, I thought it was a penalty, but watching the replays, I'm not so sure at all. I don't think there's much contact between McArthur and Hazard. On match today, they tried to claim it was a foul by Mariappa for pushing him in. Not at all. Well, it wouldn't be given anywhere else on the pitch. Hazard's speed, that's the thing. He's going so quickly that once he loses balance, it looks like a foul. McArthur has gone in, but there's I couldn't see any contact, so I don't know if it is a foul or not. And again, would it be given elsewhere on the pitch? I'm not sure it would do, but because it's Chelsea at home and the title, Stamford Bridge, I can see why he's given it. And had it been Wilf breaking into the box, would we be shouting for a penalty? Probably. But I thought it was very harsh. And I thought Jules was very unlucky with the actual save, because he does very well to wait until the last minute to see where Hazard's going to go, guesses that right, and is unlucky with the way he palms it out back to Hazard again, who nods it in. So could he have done better? I don't think so. People were sort of criticising Jules, saying he should have held it, but when a guy fires a football 12 yards away from you and you don't know where it's going to go, to even to block it initially is very, very good. So he's unlucky with the way it's spun up. Yeah, it could have gone to anyone else that happens to fall right to Hazard, who does very well to nod it into the corner. So I think Jules is unlucky there. He did, talking about Jules slip-ups, the one later on where he went to palm it away and he palmed it right up into the air in the path of all the Chelsea attackers from a free kick, who were offside. Don't know why that wasn't given. That was a slip-up, but he made up for it. I thought he had a good game, Jules. He was pretty solid. So should we have had a penalty later on? Probably, for a handball by John Terry. I mean, I know when you slide down in the box like that, it's hard to keep your arms down, but it definitely blocked the ball from going on goal. So, you know, I think if that had been down the other end, Chelsea would have been claiming a penalty and surrounding the referee, but we didn't get anything. But that's what happens when you go away to the league leaders. But we did well, punching. You know, had a shot just wide as well, and in the second half. So we did okay. I think over the balance of play probably could have scraped a point, but that at the absolute most, you know, Chelsea had a lot of the ball, more possession, but we're no pushovers now. You know, after the game, Jose and John Terry and all that were saying how difficult we are to play against. You know, Mourinho again, he loves the Palace fans, gave him a thumbs up during the game, and then turned to the Chelsea fans and sort of mimicked sleeping. So he loves. I think he would love, maybe not to manage Palace, but he'd love the Palace fans to be at the Chelsea games. So I think he really appreciates what we do, and that's nice to get that appreciation and that recognition. He just seems to have a bit of a soft spot for the fans, and maybe Palace as a club in general. But so that was nice. But, the season's sort of winding down. That'd be nice to get another win. 3 defeats on the bounce, actually, in 3 games without scoring. So, any other time in the season, you'd say that's a worry. But we've only got a few games left, and I think everyone's sort of on the beach. Although, actually, no, this was better than the last few games. Certainly against Hull, they were on the beach, but they did better. This game, we got Man United at home. United lost to West Brom, so they're definitely there for the taking, I think, United. And it'd be nice to kind of get another home win before the end of the season. So there you go. But that's my analysis of the game at Chelsea, where I think we did ourselves proud, even if we didn't get a win. Here's Jay from the Eagles Beak. Don't forget to subscribe to this and comment below with your thoughts on the game, and like this video if you like what we're doing, and stick around. We've got some more stuff planned as well before the end of the season and going into next season as well. So make sure you subscribe to Palace Fan TV for all that. Here's Jay from the Eagles Beak with his thoughts on the game, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Hi guys, welcome back to Palace Fan TV. This is Jim and Jay's final say. You've already heard Jim talking. I've not seen or heard what he's had to say, so I'm going to look back at the Chelsea game and share my views with you as we normally do with these videos. I hope you're enjoying what we're doing. We're hoping to continue them next season, so please subscribe to Palace Fan TV. Also, you can catch us on Twitter. Our social media presence is out there, the usual hashtag CPFC, and you can get us on the Eagles Beak, and obviously Jim at 5 Year Plan and the guys at Palace Fan TV. So yeah, looking back to the Chelsea game, yeah, I went with the Palace faithful, travelled up to Chelsea, not too fast travel, obviously a bit of a costly ticket, but that's a topic of conversation for another day. Chelsea needed to win the game, as we all know, to win the Premier League, and what surprised me the most about the atmosphere was a real lack of it. I've spoken to a few Chelsea fans since the game and obviously before, and they've said they have a bit of a problem with the atmosphere at games, with quite a few tourists it seems, and maybe it's the cost of tickets, I don't know, but again, that's something for another day. But what surprised me was the lack of atmosphere. There was a few occasions during the game where the whole crowd kind of got together and made noise, but not really until later on in the game, which, it's not a dig at Chelsea, they're a big club, but I much preferred away Palace, are loud and proud wherever they go, particularly away games, and, Mourinho alluded to that a little bit. I think he's got a bit of a soft spot for Palace after last season. Obviously, during the game it was reported by a media in more than one different area that Mourinho pointed to the Palace fans and his home fans. So, yeah, it didn't really feel like a party until 5 minutes to go, pretty much. But, we did give him a lot to think about. Pardew changed things up a little bit. Jedinak was on the bench. Whether he was dropped, or whether he was rested to see a few other players that Pardew wants to see, I don't really know. It's difficult to tell from Pardew sometimes when he talks to the press. But regardless, Jedinak needed to either take a rest or after the last couple of games he's been pretty poor. But Ledley and MacArthur are two players in the middle which I think have done exceptionally well. When Jedinak was missing for the Asian Cup, and also when Jedinak was missing for 4 games after his retrospective ban that he had. So it was a shame that Ledley had to make way for Jedinak when he came back, but I think they both play well together. They work together well, and Ledley and MacArthur both had a good game. MacArthur, I think second half, was man marking Hazard more so than the first half, and Ledley was his partner in crime during the game as well. It was always going to be the case that Chelsea would have more possession than us, and that proved to be the case, but they didn't particularly threaten too much, and when they did, Speroni was a decent match for them. I've already touched on the penalty in a match report on the site. I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's a tough one. I said I felt that Hazard went down too easily. For a player of his calibre, he doesn't need to have that in his game, but unfortunately it seems to be something that these talented players do. They try and take advantage in certain situations, and Hazard did exactly that. There was a hand out by Mariappa. The foot from MacArthur he'd pulled out, so he didn't make a connection, but it was a hand on Hazard which kind of forced him down. I say forced him down. I don't think if somebody did that to you in the street you wouldn't go over. So it's a poor one for me, poor decision. It was always going to go Chelsea's way, but you have to look at earlier on in the game, Puncheon had a shot on goal which was blocked by John Terry. Looking back at it, it looks like it hit his arm. how the referee can see that, in real time. Very similar to the penalty. How can he see that in real time that it was actually a foul? Hazard went between two players, and you kind of guess that something might happen if he went down. With the view the referee had. But Speroni saved the penalty. Bit unconventional, but it kind of fell to Hazard, luckily for them, at the right height, and he almost fluffed the header actually. But he put it in the back of the net, and Chelsea 1-0 up. But we did have we did have chances. We did have parts in the game where we worried them. And the big thing for me this season, and very similar to the second half of last season, is that we're competing. We're not being beaten soundly by some of these teams, although we have had some poor results at home. But regardless, we're playing up to some of the big sides, and we're not getting soundly beaten by them, which is fantastic. And we're really getting in there and competing. We have a squad of players, which we will need to add to in the summer to improve certain areas. But I was quite proud of the way we played, particularly Wilf Zaha. First half, he made Ivanovic look very poor. And I think they kind of ganged up on him a little bit as the game went on. But I think it says a lot that Mourinho wanted to win the game. Half time he brought on Mikel and took off a talented winger in Cuadrado. So he wanted to win. Second half was Chelsea had the chances, but nothing particularly clear cut. And we pushed on late on. I was impressed with Jordan much for the time he was on the pitch. For me, he's one of the best passers, or arguably the best passer of the ball we have at the club. He was good in the air. He was good going forward in support of Balassi, who was kind of playing a bit further forward than he would normally during the game. But I was impressed by him, and hopefully he can avoid this injury hoodoo that he seems to have at clubs that he goes to. He had a good run at Cardiff, but didn't really, do it at QPR, and hopefully, good pre-season, behind him, he can push on for next season. So I think there's a lot more positives than negatives from this game. After the two home defeats, we're hoping for reaction, and I think that's what we got. The Palace fans were brilliant as ever at Chelsea, loud throughout the game, and it was great to be there. Actually, I know it's a narrow defeat, but I came away feeling that there's a lot more to be happy about than down about. So we move on to next weekend, home to Manchester United, and this one's for Wilf. It really is. Wilf will be up for this one. And I really hope, and I'm pretty sure his teammates would be doing all they can to try and get a result out of this game. You shouldn't particularly pinpoint a game in the season, but I'm sure Wilf would have looked at this one at home and thinking he would like to have a good showing. Whether we can get a point out of them or 3 points. I mean, it's a team we've never particularly done that well against. So for me, it'd be a great game to get something out of. So, but 3 games to go. We're effectively safe for me. I know a lot of fans are saying, that we need another point here and there, but I think the way that the teams below us are playing each other, and we're safe, aren't we? I mean, it's a famous old saying. I know we've been relegated on 46 odd points before, but I can't see it as soon as there'll be something that would several different permutations that have to go against us. So I'm relatively happy. I'm just hoping the season doesn't peter out into a few defeats and a run of defeats. So hopefully we can get something out of the next few games and finish the season on a high and look ahead to next season. So we'll look forward to the Man U game. We're back next week with that review of that game with Jim. And in the meantime, leave your questions or comments below the video. And let us know what you think about the game, about what we do here, or anything in general with Palace. It'd be great to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week. Cheers, bye.